everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. Breaking news coming out from Saudi Arabia. Turkey, I can't say his second name. I'm going to try it. Al-Sheikh. Al-Sheikh, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Doubles down on his claim that Man United are in an advanced negotiation phase with investors from the United Arab Emirates. That is going to be the main topic today, but we do have other things. Apparently, Harry Maguire is close to signing a new contract with Manchester United. We'll get the lads' thoughts on that. Andy Mitten has provided us with an update from the stadium in regards to a certain ticketing policy, which I think is interesting, which I still don't fully understand, but I'm sure Chivy and Sam could probably explain it to me better. And Bruno Fernandes wants to stay in Europe despite Saudi rumours that are ongoing. I'm sure Saudi's still going to try to look with that situation, but he wants to stay in Europe. And I think given his ability level, why not? Because he's certainly good enough. But lads, let's dive into this Saudi Arabia story, which has been, I mean, the last 24 hours, it has just been going off all over social media. People trying to read between the lines, people trying to prove if it's real, if it's fake. People were saying the account's fake, they don't believe it's him. It is the guy, Turki Al-Sheikh, who people call, I think it's like His Excellency or something like that. He's invested hugely in boxing and sports in general, trying to portray a certain image of Saudi, which we've seen before, and he's connected to the royal family. That's about as much as I know on him personally. But the thing that's caught United's fans' attention is he originally put a tweet out. I don't know if it was last night. I'm losing kind of track of hours.
It was last night, yeah.
It was last night, wasn't it? Yeah. Basically saying that he hopes these new investors in Man United.
That's the one today. So last night he put Man United is in an advanced stage of completing a deal to sell to a new investor pending future confirmation. That's what he put last night.
Yeah.
And then today
I've got it here. I've got it on the screen, yeah. My yesterday's post about Manchester United's potential sale meant one thing. The club is in an advanced negotiation phase with a new investor. Just to clarify, I am not the investor, nor are they from my nation. I'm posting this as a fan who wishes the deal to happen, though it might not necessarily happen. I read that and I'm like, well, what's the point in fucking posting it? Does this feel like he's kind of generate a conversation around it to get fans amplified up about it because he's got this big profile, because there might be a connection there between Saudi and the United Arab Emirates and these kind of things? What were your thoughts, Chivy, when you first initially saw this, or if you've only just seen it? Because I know sometimes, you might not be paying attention necessarily.
No. I heard about it yesterday and today as well, but I haven't really followed up on it too much. I was hoping like I'd hear from like Andy Mitten or David Ornstein or something, like somebody credible to say something. But I don't think those guys have commented yet. Nope. So I'm not 100% sure. As far as this guy and the reason for him making that post is still very ambiguous. Like you don't know what the point is behind that. Is it to gain traction? But then he's someone that has status already, so why would he be looking for any kind of traction, if that makes any sense? Maybe he's just a fan. I know people in that in that region are football crazy, so I don't know, or maybe he just wants to be the first one to break it. I have no idea, but I'm not reading much into it. It's international break. Besides, like how, like who is he buying it from? From the Glazers, from Ineos? Like how's that whole dynamic? Like, what is it?
So, just to clarify, I think there's drag along rights. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sam, but there's drag along rights that was inserted in the clause that someone can come in basically and put in an offer, and either Ratcliffe matches it, or obviously if
he's forced to sell.
He's forced to sell, basically.
But the bid has to be, I think it's 5 billion, I think, is what the Glazers are asking for the remaining shares that they own. So because of the price that Sir Jim Ratcliffe paid for the shares at the time then when he invested, it has to be at that price. It can't be like a lower price because obviously he paid more, so it has to be minimum that price. And then Sir Jim gets the first refusal and basically says like, I will buy all of those or I won't. And if he doesn't, he then has to sell his shares to this new investor.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I get it now. Yeah. Like I said, I'll hang fire and wait until like somebody credible reports on this.
Ben Jacobs mentioned, Sam, that sources at United are unaware of the matter and deny that there is any progress regarding the sale of the club, but the possibility that the Glazers are talking independently with investors cannot be ruled out. I don't want to get too political in all of this. I want to try to keep it as much football as possible if we can. But in the grand scheme of things, if it was to happen, or if there is genuine talks, which I'm sure we'll find out in the next few days, what would that mean? Because we've seen Ratcliffe come in, you've seen the pressure, you've seen the interview that he's just done. Yeah. All the work that's been done as well. It kind of feels like all that'd be ripped out, right?
I believe when he came in originally, Sir Jim, he did want to buy 100%. However, the Glazers didn't want to sell 100%, which is why the Qatari bid failed, because they only wanted 100%, didn't they? But they weren't willing to pay whatever it is the Glazers valued it like, was it 7 or 8 billion, I think, for all the shares, but I think Qatari and Sir Jim valued it like 4 billion or something like that, so they just weren't willing to pay over the odds in terms of that, and they were like full sale or nothing. And Sir Jim sort of came up with this scheme of like, well, I'll buy 25% at the time, get football control, and then eventually maybe I can edge him out and buy bits and pieces, invest more, get some equity and stuff, which he has sort of done. Like he's got now 28%, is it? Because he's invested like further money since. So I think if there was an investor or there's somebody who's willing to buy the shares, so unless they're willing to pay astronomical odds for these shares from the Glazers, I would think Sir Jim is going to match it, because he wants full control. That's why he's bought in. Like, he's not come in to be a bit part investor. He's come in to eventually take all of it. So I'd imagine he's going to match it at some point if they are going to be on sale, which we don't know at this point. But obviously, if they're going to pay over the odds this UAE, then maybe Sir Jim Radcliffe is like, this, it's not worth me paying whatever they're going to pay. So then I'll just take my money and go. But yeah, it's an interesting proposition, because we know the sort of Arab thing, they like to pay a lot of money, and money's not really an object for them. I know Qatari was a bit sort of hold fast on theirs, like they weren't willing to spend over the odds despite what they said. They weren't able to prove their funds, despite the fact that we were backed by a bank and what have you. So yeah, there's a lot of sort of cloak and dagger, isn't there, behind those sort of deals and stuff like that. Obviously, the Newcastle deal had to be approved by the UK government at the time because of the certain connections to the Saudi investment fund and the royal family and stuff. So yeah, it's all a bit, they don't do business in the light, do they, these guys? They do business behind closed doors a lot of the time, which would not surprise me. However, United are on the public stock exchange, so if any deal was to happen, they would have to announce it publicly, because they are a publicly traded company, so that would have to happen. So there's that as well.
But not necessarily even if there's just negotiations.
No, exactly,
right?
Yeah. If there's just talks and stuff, but if they did make a bid, it would have to be announced publicly. So yeah. I would assume no bid has been made as of yet, if there is something going on.
Yeah, I think we definitely would have heard about it if that was the case. But the whole concept of it's interesting as well, isn't it, Civir? Because you think about the boys across the road, Manchester City, who I believe are owned by
Abu Dhabi.
Is that Abu Dhabi, right?
Yeah.
And the stick they've kind of got from Man United fans, and everyone's gone on about them. But then it's like, you've seen, obviously, they've won 4 in a row. They've done all this. Where does that lie with you, kind of morally, if at all?
I mean, there's 2 things there. So the criticism towards them is different, because like they were, all, respect to them and all that, but they were not a household name.
They were nothing. They were
nothing. Yeah, so they were nothing, and they just got propped up by money. Now, if somebody bought Liverpool or somebody bought, Real Madrid or whatever, like they already established, they already have the money, so it's different with us and them in that regard. As far as from a moral standpoint, like Sam mentioned earlier on, like a lot of their dealings are done like in the dark. Like there's not that much transparency as far as everything behind it. Now that doesn't affect me morally, but I'm just worried for my club, because I don't want my club to something to happen and then we're like kind of caught up in some madness. Anything can happen with those guys. If I can, that's why I never really trusted that. What's his name? Yeah, she just said like, I don't think anyone had ever seen him. Like,
there's like 5 photos of him, wasn't there? There was
there's
like 5 photos.
and then there's like one video
the
where he
thumbnails was such a struggle at times, honestly.
He just looks like Pablo Escobar or something. Like, I'm not really sure.
Hopefully, he doesn't run the club like Pablo Escobar. If he's to take over.
So like, I mean, if it's like, I mean, there's a lot of legitimate businessmen out there, a lot of people with lots of money and stuff. Like and I know they're trying to diversify. Like they don't just want to rely on oil. They're trying to spread out, to sports. That's a big thing now with UFC, golf, everything. There'll soon be tennis there,
Wrestling
so I can see
as well.
wrestling
just got to Royal Rumble at WrestleMania, aren't there?
Exactly. So they're trying to branch out. So United is a decent proposition for anyone out there, as long as it's transparent, as long as they have, it's not just a money thing for them, and they're trying to like progress the club and all that kind of stuff. And I'm fine with that.
It's interesting. Let us know your thoughts if you are joining us live or watching this later on in the comments section. I'm fascinated to know people's views. It feels like we've just settled down from the whole kind of Qatar scenario and speaking about that on most days. And will it go to the gym? Will it not? And then did this kind of come out of the blue, like 11 o'clock at night, from an account from a guy who's well known in the sports kind of industry, and certainly well known in Saudi Arabia. It's just for me personally, to give my take on it, I saw it and I was like, it's weird. This it's just come out of nowhere. There's been no build up to it. There's been no other journalist reporting it. He's just put a tweet out and then it's caused this absolute storm. For me though, with these kind of investments, I would be a hypocrite because we've all sat here, or the majority of us sat here on this channel and spoken about Newcastle, and we've spoken about Manchester City and all the question marks kind of around those clubs. I wouldn't want Man United to be associated with that. I think Man United is a pure club and it's built on history, it's built on culture. To be tied to that, for me personally, it wouldn't sit right. And having the fact that Ineos have just done all this work, getting rid of different directors and this and that, and it feels like they've spent a year doing it and making some really tough decisions. All of that would be ripped away, and there's no guarantee. I mean, we don't have success at the moment, right? So that's kind of, I think you can go back and forth off anyway. But I mean, it just feels like it'd take the progress back even more if a new investor comes in, because then a load of new decisions are going to be made. I look at a project like PSG, for example, where it's all right, they've got shitloads of money. They went and bought Mbappe, Neymar, Messi, did all these kind of things, and it failed. They still couldn't win the Champions League. They bottled it. It's all well and good winning the French League, but it's a different scenario in the Premier League. So I wouldn't personally want that for me, just to kind of throw my 2 pence in there. But I think this is going to be a story that's ongoing, and I think for any kind of updates on it in general, you'll see things on Instagram or on our X account. It
does feel like a gap filler in the international break, doesn't it? It feels like one of those stories. There's no news about anything really about United, and the papers are struggling because it's an international break and they're like, oh fuck, we need to write about United but they're not playing. What can we do? Bruno to Saudi, let's do that again. Let's put that out there. United with a new investor, let's do that. New stadium, that was another thing. Sir Jim's interview about Amrim, that was another thing. So they filled their sort of quota out their United stories to sort of during the international break to keep the cycle going, because without United, a lot of these media organisations would be out of pocket and out of money, wouldn't they? Because what else are they going to write about?
I'd agree with that. However, this isn't a journalist.
No, but what I'm saying is this guy's put this out there. There's got to be a reason why he's got to put this out there for a reason. Because if he puts this out mid-game and stuff, people probably dismiss it. But because there's nothing, has he put this out at this time for a reason?
But I don't know what the reason would be.
But it kind of sounds like it was happening, like it was like a recent thing. So it wasn't like, it happened like a week ago.
Yeah.
When he tweeted it kind of sounded like, it just happened like yesterday sort of thing, So I don't know. There's no smoke without fire, but I'm very much more comfortable with Ineos. Like, I don't want anything to come in and just ruin what they've started. Like, I don't think people can expect things to just happen overnight. As far as, the club, getting back to winning ways and all that kind of stuff. So I'm happy with what they're doing. At least the decisions they're making. I'm cool with that. Like, I just hope this is a rumor. Just goes away.
Would it surprise you though, Civir, had the Glazers been talking to someone?
It would, because I mean, they had the opportunity to sell for the full 5 mil.
But they didn't provide the full funds, did they, Qatar? That's the
Qatar didn't have the proof. They didn't have the proof of the funds. That was the issue.
So they obviously wanted to sell.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. Nothing surprises me these days, to be honest.
I thought he was going to do like a Slaven Billet there. Do you remember when they're doing the punditry on the World Cup? And he goes, to be honest, I don't care.
Yeah.
Thanks, Slaven.
If Chivy was doing punditry,
that is him, innit?
That is him right there.
That is you
like,
in a
Chivy,
nutshell.
what do you think about this setup and like how the way this works? To be honest, Gary, I don't care.
Okay. Refreshing. I like to hear
Thank you, Chivy. Appreciate
it. Hopefully you do care about this story. Harry Maguire, I know you've been quite vocal about him before. Civir, a new contract situation ongoing. So Man United met with the Maguire's team in recent days to discuss a new contract. There will be further meetings to discuss the terms. The club is pleased with the player's contribution and leadership and is close to signing his contract renewal. The club's director of football negotiations, Matt Hargreaves, has held initial talks with the player's representatives. That's coming from Mr. Samuel Lucas as well. The correct decision, Civir, in experience, is his experience, should say, is invaluable, right?
He's earned this, I think. I think he's earned the contract extension. It'll probably be for like a year or so. I have to reduce the wage, obviously. So yeah, I think he's earned it. I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. I'm actually quite happy to hear that, actually.
Yeah. Are we expecting maybe a rolling contract situation here, Sam, do you think? Something that Gary Neville had kind of at the club?
Yeah.
Getting a little bit older.
Yeah, they make sense. Like, I think if you asked this question, I don't know, like 2 years ago, a lot of us would be like, what the fuck? Why is he getting a new deal? Like, what is happening here? Like, he needs to be on the boat out and all that.
Woodward putting him on 350 grand.
Like, you remember that Phil Jones contract when he offered him a new 4-year deal? Do you remember that? Like, what the fuck were we doing?
Crazy.
Yeah, a rolling deal sounds about right. Like, how old is he now? 30?
I think
is he 31?
Yeah, 31, 32, I think.
So, 132, something like that.
He's getting there. He's getting towards the end point of his career. He has had a few injuries as of recently. I think he had a groin injury for a while, didn't he? He sort of kept. I think he played injured for a lot of last season, didn't he? Like he was injured quite a lot.
Times,
he's played through it. So, but yeah, he stepped up, improved his performance, been one of our sort of really key players. So yeah, he deserves a new deal. Like Chivy said, he'll probably be on a reduced wage because I believe he's on a quite high wage at the minute, and I think Ineos are looking to bring that down, which is probably why Casemiro won't get offered a new deal unless he's willing to at least half his wage at this point, because they ain't going to give him 350k a week. So, yeah, I'm happy for him to stay there. I know Romano confirmed this as well today. Like, he confirmed the story. So I don't really believe the Sun or Samuel Lucas at times, but Romano's confirmed it. So I'll take that. There's been stuff about Shaw, Dallo, and Ugarte getting new deals. That bothers me.
would worry me.
That bothers me. That definitely bothers me. I'm like, those guys should not be getting new deals.
Ugarte's been here a season, hasn't he? What's he getting a new deal for?
I know.
What's going on there?
Shaw and Dallo, I'm like, why are they getting new deals? Shaw
just wants to do the 10-year mark, doesn't he? He just wants to get the birthday cake for the 10-year mark.
He gets his testimonial. Like, fuck off, lad. Yeah, Maguire, I'm all right with it. Yeah. It's a good deal. It's a good deal.
It's weird in football because I feel like experience is slightly overlooked. Like, the popular thing to say about this was like, oh, why are you giving him a contract? Why are you paying him more money? He's not starting regular games or whatever, blah, blah, blah. No one, and that's including myself, sees what goes on in dressing rooms. And we can only go off reports, right? And the kind of stuff that we see. And everything I'm seeing from kind of journalists in the know or who speak to people at the club is he's incredible with young players in particular. Him and Bruno Fernandes are really good with the youngsters that are coming up. They've both been through hell at United, so first and foremost, you know what that is. They've both been through millions of transitional periods. Yeah. They may not have been good of, Maguire in particular, may not have been good of at times, but I think that's invaluable. You can't go out there and...
They've won trophies as well.
You can't go out there and buy players with that experience. You just can't buy it. It's impossible. So to have him there or thereabouts on, especially if he cuts his wage, I don't see any negativity around that personally at all.
I don't. That's why I was actually quite pleased with Johnny Evans when he came. Like initially it was like a joke, he was training with us.
Yeah.
And when we signed him, I was like, hey, but it's like, what is the intangibles? Like I always talk about this, like what he provides in the dressing room, how he affects other players and all that. Like Johnny Evans been there his whole life,
Yeah.
And it's similar with Harry Maguire, even Varane. Like when he had all the injuries, I was like, just keep him there, just to bring that aura. You need people that want things, that have been in certain battles, have faced off with some of the best in the world. You need that sort of aura around some of the youngsters, it kind of spreads out to everyone else. And I'm cool with this. Like, especially if at the moment we're not really pressed to go out and get like a new central defender.
Quite well stocked, aren't we, in that area?
We're quite stocked, yeah. So we can, so we can hold off, and then we can focus on other areas. We don't have to spend money on the central defender at least for another year or two, maybe. So we can hold off on that and then use whatever money we have to go for other players.
Yeah, I'm all right with that. I think Maguire for me he gets. I don't know if he still does. I don't know if it's still the same thing, but there still seems to be this kind of thing attached with him. Like whenever you speak about him, it's like people are still living back in the early days. Whenever you mention anything about him,
I think that's kind of weird off a little bit. I think he's getting his just due.
I still see it.
We still get it on our comments. Anytime we put a post out, Maguire, it's like, he's shit. Like, why are we still keeping him? You're like, have you watched him? Like, if you watched him recently, he's been good for us. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, bizarre scenario. But anyway, we'll move on to the next story. I want to talk about this situation with the stadium, if anyone could provide some clarity for me, because I read it and I was like, I don't even know what that is. But Andy Mitten and The Athletic, solid journalism as always, saying Man United are exploring whether to sell seat licenses at their new stadium and are sending a survey to match going fans to assess their potential demand. Sam, what did you make of that?
As far as I know, like, again, I am not a what's it called? Well, not that either, but I know they do this in America with NFL and stuff like that. Basically, what I think is, obviously, it's financial based because that's what Ineos are all about. It's a model used by like NFL teams, and they've basically sold personal seat licenses to help fund the building of the stadium. I know a lot of American teams have built big new stadiums recently. I know the Cowboys have got like 100,000 seat stadium. I know the Glazers have built that new stadium for what's their American team called that they go and support and they actually put money into Tampa Bay. Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, basically that people will license the seats and basically like, oh, this is our seat, or these are our seats, like a company or a brand or something like that. We these are our seats, and we'll license them, and then we'll sell them to basically people in our company or people around our company or whatever, and it helps fund the stadium. So if you can license a bunch of different seats, that then funds the stadium build, which I think is how they're going to go about building this thing. Because as much as people are like, oh, he should put his hand in his pocket and all this sort of stuff, he owns 25% of the club. So he's not going to put money in that he's not going to get something back for. Mm-hmm. And United is an attractive brand, like it or not, it is. Like there's brands lining up who want to be associated with United, and if you can be associated with a brand new stadium, I'm sure there's a lot of brands lining up to do that in terms of sponsoring the name of the stadium, getting involved in like advertising there, like food, blah blah blah, like all that sort of stuff. So yeah, licensing is just another thing. It's an American model, and it just seems like a lot of our sports and a lot of our sort of football is going down that Americanized, franchised model, which is a little bit sad because it just becomes all about money. I don't know if you've looked at like American football tickets, how much they are. It's thousands and thousands of dollars. And it ends up pricing a lot of people out. Like I think a Super Bowl ticket minimum is like 20 grand. And you're like, I don't, yeah, for a shit seat. By the way,
that's even in the nosebleeds.
Yeah, that's a shit seat. That's a really terrible seat. So
Like, what I don't get is, unless you just got stupid money, I would never pay that.
no, that's what they do.
Like,
That's what
even,
they do.
Like, even if United was in the final of the Champions League, I would never pay £20,000
But like
for a ticket.
that's what happens. Like people go to football games, it's like $2,000-3,000 a ticket, and it's that's just the way it is. That's
Imagine
the way
paying for that for the final against Spurs. That final we watched. Absolutely rinsed.
I've watched shit films in a cinema. I wanted to go to the cinema and go, I want a fucking refund for what I've just witnessed. Never mind going to a game. Like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I think that is basically someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it is.
So it's not quite a season ticket. It's a regular seat that you can get a license for. And how long does that license last for? Like,
it depends. It just depends. Like, it depends on the contract.
Yeah, I think it's flexible. It's pretty much the same thing I read. Like I had a quick glance shortly before we came on live, and it kind of said that. But I'm just going to go back into my normal sort of character of saying like I don't care. But what I care about is the fact that it worked in America. And I think it was the Tampa Bay whatever that made like $100 million from that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So if it works, that's fine. I'm happy with that.
You basically have to pay a shit ton up front to basically get it guaranteed. Whereas the season ticket, you basically pay I don't know what the average season is, 800 to about something like that. And it's the same.
Sorry, go on, son.
But if you're like this new stadium, you're basically saying for the next 5 years, say, I am having these seats or these seats, but you're gonna have to pay an absolute premium up front, or you're gonna have to pay like thousands of pounds to get it.
Yeah, if there's some dope, well, I'm not gonna call them that, but if there's some idiot that's ready to if there's
a guy somewhere in the world now on a computer just about to click a ticket, going what? No.
Yeah, if there's some nice gentlemen out there who are ready to spend a lot of money on these tickets, fine, please do. Please, I mean, give us that money, man. Run that cash.
I think it's more angled towards premium kind of buyers, right?
Corporate, it's like a corporate sort of thing where brands can sort of.
Yeah, in which case, fucking rinse them, go for it. As long as you don't take my seat opportunity away, then.
Do you know when there's like celebrities in UFC and stuff, and they're on like the first two rows? It's just like me and you guys, we're never getting. It doesn't matter if those go on general sale, we're never getting those seats. Like it's just not happening. But they always will sell those seats to these, like, say, they've got a new movie coming out, we'll sell those seats to these guys to promote that, blah, blah, blah.
I've read recently, I don't know if you guys have seen it, about Netflix going into football and buying the Champions League.
Champions League, Was it 4.4 billion?
Something outrageous.
It's a ridiculous amount.
Put it on a global scale, and it just got me thinking, like, seeing fucking, I don't know, Old Trafford Macaulay Culkin, like, waving at the camera and, like, you know, those kind of things that you always see at these premium live events. Like,
do you remember when WWE came to Manchester and Wayne Rooney slapped a wrestler? Do you remember that?
Yeah, Tom Aspinall had a thing as well in there.
Ray Rooney was just in the crowd, and like the Americans were watching it, going, "Who the fuck is this like ugly dude?" And he just smacks a fucking wrestler. He's just like, "What the fuck's going on?"
The Netflix thing. I hope that doesn't, because like I have to think back of like my people in Nigeria and stuff, because Netflix is not like super. It's not not everyone has Netflix.
They say it's global, but it's not actually global. Is it? Like,
it's not.
A lot of parts of it.
Is it not available in Nigeria? No.
It is available, but it's not. Everyone doesn't have access.
It's
not easily accessible.
But does everyone have access at the minute currently? Without
what
Netflix?
Do you mean?
So the way it is at the moment, like to watch football, is it easier? Let's say, for example,
so that's what I'm saying. It's a lot easier. Like they get to watch tons of football. We have our version of Sky is called DSTV, and you can watch all sorts of football on there.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, all the whatever any top European league, like you can watch anything. But if Netflix comes. That's the problem. This is what I'm saying. I don't know if people will be able to, have access to it the way we do.
I was thinking more kind of price wise, like Netflix for me, because obviously WWE, I watch that, and that's come over onto Netflix, and it's just easier because Netflix is like £8 a month, Obviously, everyone has it, and it's on at a certain time. It's consistent. I feel with United at the minute, well, not United, but Premier League football on Sky Sports, they charge so much fucking money for it.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, true. Yeah.
And you don't even get all the games.
3 o'clock. Yeah, we don't even get the 3 o'clock games.
Well, not even at 3 o'clock. When there's say there's 2 games on at 2 o'clock on a Sunday, they only put one of them on. They don't put both of them on.
I do think they've changed that Sunday specifically. I do think they've changed that now to put more games on. But in general, that they're saying, we're showing more games. It's 200 games or whatever. But in reality, it's still, we want to watch it like United. Yeah. Why is it not United versus Sunderland? Let's say it's on at 3 o'clock. That's just happened. Why is that not on TV? Why can't you have it on TV? Because you see all these other global network sports. Like beIN Sports, whoever, have got the games on at the same time. They've got multi-view. They've got everything. Why is
the Premier League not made its own streaming app where people can sign up for
and then just watch everything?
And just watch it. It's such an easy moneymaker for them. Literally, you just.
But do you think they make more money off what they do now, and that's why they're not doing it?
If you do it worldwide, there's 6 billion people on the planet. I imagine football is the biggest sport on the world. If you go to any country, maybe a bar and a few other ones. I think cricket is bigger in India and Pakistan and stuff, but worldwide, football is the biggest sport in the world. If you offered that streaming service worldwide, you probably get a lot of shit ton of money.
For sure.
There is something there, because I think if there was more money to be made doing that, I think they would have exploited it already.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, last story of the day, lads. Bruno Fernandes is coming from Simon Stone, who is a pretty concrete journalist, to be fair. Bruno Fernandes, not interested in Saudi Arabia. He's fully committed to Man United. If he ends up leaving, it'll be for a club in Europe. He's obviously still capable, right? If he was to move somewhere in Europe now, I still think he'd probably be the best midfielder in Germany, France, Italy. I think he would light it up in the majority of those leagues. Even if he went to Spain now, with the talent that's there, I think he would do pretty well. Are you surprised to see that? From a selfish point of view, would you only want Saudi to come in if someone's going to pay money because you'd get a lot from him? For him?
From a selfish point of view, I would like for Saudi to come in because we'll get the highest amount of money for him. But I can, at the same time, I still say with Bruno, Bruno is kind of he still has that old school mentality to a certain extent, where it's all about status for him. It's like glory. I remember before Schweinsteiger went to America, I think he was he has to play at United, or he had to play at somewhere that was somewhere with a little bit of prestige. And I think Bruno is that sort of player. I don't agree with you saying he's going to be the best in Germany or whatever, but he will be.
He would be better.
I don't know, but he's not the best.
He'd be the best midfielder there, 100%.
In Germany,
yeah,
the best midfielder.
There isn't a better player in Germany than Bruno Fernandes right now in his position.
Right. Okay.
Name one.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go into that. I don't know.
If you can't name one, that's what I'm saying. There isn't one. I'm telling you.
I don't know. I mean, it sounds very subjective. I'm sure somebody with
But it's based off. It's not subjective. It's based off what we've seen, the metrics and everything. I'm talking about purely in his position, in the number 10 position. In my opinion, top 5 in the world right now.
Yeah, if you're talking about goals and assists, so you like to look at figures and stuff like that. But there's more to football than that.
Of course.
He doesn't have any. I mean, Vitinha has nowhere near that sort of level of goals.
No. But he's a different position.
Yeah, but but you said midfielder. You mean attacking?
Bruno, a centre attacking midfielder. 10. Let's call it a 10. In world football right now, Bruno is amongst it. That was my only kind of point. But anyway, sorry, I'm going off on a thing. Sorry.
Yes. So we might not get that much money for him from Europe. We might maybe because of his age and all that kind of stuff, and they know we're desperate. Saudi would be the only one, but I'm not in a hurry to see Bruno leave. I know I've criticized him a lot, and I'm not I don't carry him on a pedestal, but I'm not in a hurry to see him go. I think he still has a lot to give to this club. I think we still have a lot to kind of gain from Bruno being in the club. We talked about Harry Maguire, people with that sort of experience and all that. Bruno is one of them ones. He doesn't always come clutch in the big games, but I think there's a lot. he adds a lot more to this team that than a lot of people give him credit for. So if we get 60 mil for him, I'll be happy. If he stays, I'll be happy as well. Like I'm thinking like if we get a different manager at some point and then he goes back to his number 10 role, I'd be happy. I'd be super happy with that. So I'm not going to hurry him off.
That's the big question in it, Sam. That's the main thing that really matters. If he's gonna stay in this system with Ruben Amorim, we're not getting the best out of him. Therefore, would it make more sense getting the money for him and then bringing in someone who fits that with a bit more of a future, or would you still be okay with keeping him?
No, I'd like Civir. I'm happy either way. If last summer when there was all this sort of going on about him possibly leaving and money and stuff like that, if they came in with 80 to 100 million, whatever it is they were offering, I would have taken it, because you then use that to reinvest in a budget and rebuild that midfield to work for the system that he's trying to play. He ended up staying, and I'm happy with that, because he's a really good player and he's integral to his team and he's given a lot to this team. But like Jimmy said, like the position we're using him, we're not getting the best out of him. Like he's just not being used to his full ability. He needs to play in that 10 position. And in order for him to play in that 10 position, we need to invest in that midfield and get new players in. But how do we do that without generating funds? And he's one of our most valuable players that we could probably sell and get money for. In reality, like you look at the other players that we've got that we could possibly sell. Onana, you going to get much for him? Probably not. Rashford, I think Barcelona.
I can't believe you mentioned Onana. Like, looking at players we have to sell.
Well, he is. He's one of the players we have to sell.
If you want to buy a packet of empty crisp,
yeah.
We're giving that guy away for free.
Yeah, exactly. Barca don't want to pay for Rashford. Apparently, they want to get another loan, which fantastic. That's really well for us.
Sounds about right.
Sancho's going to leave for free, most likely, when he finishes his loan at Villa. Shaw, do you want wants a really good left back, but he's mostly injured.
Yeah.
Do you want him? Like, we haven't got many sellable assets at this point. So he is one of them. But again, he's one of our better players. So it's just like, do you sacrifice that guy to rebuild the team, or do you keep him and try and get him into his best position? But again, that means the manager's changing the system while you changing the manager. So there's a lot of sort of arguments in there.
Well, the only thing that scares me about this, sorry.
No, go on.
What scares me about this Bruno thing is, if we're going to sell him and reinvest it, I don't trust Amorim with any player at all. Like, I wouldn't trust him with buying anyone. So I'd rather
Ineos. Would it not be Ineos though, buying the players, not Amorim?
Yeah, but in he's
coaching him.
But he's coaching him, and the reason why we're selling him, or the reason why we think to sell him, is because of what we've all said and what everyone is saying. Like, it's not his natural position, and Bruno in the 10 in this system doesn't. I mean, it doesn't work in this. He's playing in the best position that he can play right now in the system. Yeah. Moving him to one of the 10s takes a lot away from us. So, if the manager is still here and we're playing this system, like, I'll be I'll be pissed off. Like, if we lose Bruno, we lose Kobe, we lose Xerxes, like really, really good technical players. I can't trust this guy to go and get replacements that will really improve us, because it's not the players that's the problem. It's the fucking system in the Premier League. That's the problem. So then we just sell our best players and try and get people to come in, and then it still doesn't work. So then,
drop my really hot take.
Always.
I think Kobe Mainoo is gone by summertime.
He is.
I think he's gone.
I don't know.
Unfortunately, I think he will.
Kobe leaves. He's gone. Like, and he'll be bad.
He's not going to wait around. He's not going to wait around to get game time. He's just.
Let me ask you a question, just to finish on. Right. Who is more likely to leave Manchester United next summer, Bruno Fernandes or Kobe Mainoo?
Kobe.
Didn't even take a second to think about it. You both think that?
Because he wants to play game time, and under this manager, he's not going to get it. And the way Ratcliffe is talking, he said 3 years he's willing to give this manager, regardless. Players are way more sacrificial under this Ineos thing than the manager is, it seems. because they've got rid of Garnacho, Rashford, like Højlund, all these players that they brought in recently. They've just cast them. Honestly, I think Kobbie Mainoo goes. He might even go in January. To be fair, like if somebody comes in, but yeah, I think he goes.
I would not be surprised if he goes in January. But the good news is, the manager will be gone by the end of the season. So that's the good news. So Kobbie isn't going anywhere.
It doesn't matter, everyone, because Amorim's fucking off before him, so it won't happen.
He's gone. There's no way.
What do you think, Nick? What's your opinion? You think Bruno or Kobbie goes?
I think Bruno.
You think Kobbie stays?
Yeah, I think Bruno goes, and that's why Kobbie becomes the main man in that area. I think.
You think he's going to wait? You think he's going to wait?
No, I think maybe he'll get a loan in January for the World Cup in order to get minutes and play time, and then I think he comes back in the summer. And obviously, it all depends on that. If we get money for Bruno, decent money, I think he'll integrate him into that role and start trusting him more. But that's based off just what I hear and, kind of internal instincts, not based off anything factual, because you two would probably be right based on what we've seen at the minute, that he's just not playing him. But I think Amorim sees a player in there. It just feels a bit like, it was funny that Mainoo put that whiplash thing on with the film and the drummer. It does feel like there's a bit of tough love there, and it's kind of like keep pushing, and he'll get to a point and he'll go, right, I'm going to play you now. That's just my thought process behind it, but I hope he does. That's the main thing. I hope he does.
If he does,
I really hope he does. He stays, and I think he'll probably have to like fine tune his game to be able to fit that role, because probably doesn't do the switches, and that's the thing. That's key for that role. Like the switching the ball and the long ball and all that is key. And Kobbie is ball on the ground type of player. He's not one of them ones that does that. Until he gets that, I don't think it happens.
I think as well, if Kobbie's going to come in, that means Bruno doesn't play. And I'm like, how long is Bruno willing to sit and not play? Do you know what I mean?
That's why it's difficult, isn't it? When he's your captain as well. Yeah. It's tricky, because you can't play Bruno and Mainoo together. No. It just doesn't work at all. You do need
it's just chaos. It's just fucking chaos if them two play together.
Yeah. So that's why you've seen him doing bit parts and coming on the last kind of 10, 15. So we'll wait and see, won't we? Like we said, the manager might not even be here. We might be having a totally different conversation by next summer. So we'll leave it at that. We started talking about Saudi Arabia investment. We finished talking about Saudi Arabia interest in Bruno Fernandes. Seems to be everywhere at the moment. But yeah, that has been the news show with recaps, the whole situation with apparently these United Arab Emirates investors. So again, if you want to keep a close eye on that, check us out on social media. We spoke about Harry Maguire's new contract, Bruno Fernandes to Saudi, and also this new kind of ticketing plan or licensing plan, whatever you want to call it. So hopefully you guys have appreciated the show. If you have, leave a like on the video for us, subscribe to the channel, and me, Sam, and Chiv